Hi, I'm Karl Konrad, and 22 years ago I started Australian Immigration Law Services. We are based in Sydney but provide services for clients located all around the world. We help you get your visa to live, work and study in Australia. Our channel is all about making it easier to understand visas. Subscribe to us for our videos that guide you in detail on visa requirements as well as how to apply. Get helpful hints on how to improve your application and keep up to date with the latest news in Australian immigration. To be eligible for the 190 or 491 visa, you have to fulfill Immigration Department requirements and further requirements for the state of your preference. State governments independently set their own requirements that you must meet in order for them to select you. These are called nomination requirements. States also have different lists of eligible occupations and their own application processes. Immigration Department requirements cover the basics such as being under the age of 45, scoring at least 65 points on the points test, having a valid skill assessment and competent English. To learn more about the 190 and 491 visas, their benefits over the 189 visa and the Immigration Department requirements, check out our videos linked in the description below. There are many ways to qualify for a visa with South Australia. The first one is that you are living and working in South Australia. Requirements are made easier for you if you have graduated from study in South Australia, or if you're in regional South Australia, or if you've been in South Australia for many years. You can also apply under the Talent and Innovators program. Under this program, you need to be employed by a South Australian business, or you have started your own business, or are a high-performing graduate, or are highly skilled with at least 95 points. If you're in Australia but currently not residing in South Australia, you are ineligible to apply for state nomination. If you're currently residing outside of Australia, you are also ineligible to apply for state nomination. If meeting the work experience route, then you must meet the work experience requirement listed for your occupation. Skilled work experience must be undertaken post-course completion and is defined as a minimum of 20 hours per week or 40 hours per fortnight of paid employment in your nominated occupation or closely related occupation. South Australia defines closely related as being the same first two digit as ANSCO. Now, we spoke about this in our recent video about what closely related can mean. Check it out and you'll find a link in the description below and at the end of this video. Some concessions apply if you are currently working in outer regional South Australia, or if you are a long-term resident of South Australia, or for specific occupations. Applicants already working in South Australia and South Australian graduates may be eligible for exemptions or waivers to the work experience requirement as specified in the individual occupation requirements. You should check the requirements out carefully of your particular occupation, and of course, there are so many here that we cannot do that in this video. Firstly, South Australia's occupation list is huge. There are many occupations across many different industries, which is really good news. Second of all, it's really detailed. That's also where it may get a little frustrating, for the requirements can vary from one occupation to the next. This is very different compared to how other states operate, which in general have a uniform criteria to meet for all occupations. Let's compare a few occupations, starting with primary school teacher and ICT security specialist. For both occupations, you may apply through the Working in South Australia pathway or the South Australia Graduate pathway or through the Talent and Innovations program. Note, not all occupations have access to both, so do check your occupation's requirements. If you're looking to apply for the 190 visa, you must be currently working in your nominated occupation or closely related occupation for at least in the last 12 months in Greater Adelaide or in the last 6 months in the outer regional South Australia as a primary teacher. However, as an ICT security specialist, you would need to be working for at least 24 months in Greater Adelaide or for 12 months in regional South Australia. This is double the time required compared to that as a primary school teacher. If you're applying for the 491 visa as a primary school teacher, you would be eligible if you're currently working for at least 6 months in South Australia As an ICT security specialist, the requirements are not only different in length of time, but also in the area you must be working. You would need to be working for at least 12 months in Greater Adelaide or the last 6 months in outer regional South Australia. For both the primary school teacher and the ICT security specialist, they are able to apply for the 190 and the 491 visa through the Talent and Innovators program. There is also a pathway for South Australian graduates. For the primary school teacher, they can only apply as South Australian graduates if they have proficient English. They also must be currently working at least 3 months in South Australia. This is different for the ICT security specialist. South Australian graduates can apply if they have competent level English and must be working for at least 3 months in South Australia. For both primary school teacher and ICT security specialists, the work experience requirement can be waived if the stated criteria is met. Finally, for ICT security specialists, they have an additional pathway that primary school teachers do not. If the South Australian graduate has proficient level of English, their requirements are easier, but they can only apply for the 491 visa. And finally, as a simple example, for the occupation of tennis coach, the only pathway available is through the Talent and Innovators program. You'll find a link to all the postcodes that are considered to be Greater Adelaide or outer regional South Australia in the description below, but simply put, the requirements are very specific to the occupation you are applying for. The visas available for each occupation, English proficiency required, minimum working period, and where you've been working may all be very different. South Australia accepts applications directly, and they can be lodged through their Skilled and Business Migration portal. You must have an Immigration Department Expression of Interest, EOI, already registered on their system, for you need to give those details to South Australia when you apply. Your nominated occupation in your EOI must match your nominated occupation on your South Australia online application. It is preferred that applicants choose South Australia only as their nominating states on their expression of interests. If you have further queries applying to South Australia, we do Zoom, Skype and telephone consultations. We'll leave the links to all of these requirements mentioned, and if you want to learn more, there are loads more resources on our blog at australiavisa.com. We would love it if you joined our Facebook community as well. Please subscribe, like and comment, and as always, take care out there, and I will see you next time. So bye for now.